unearthing Britain's biggest ever immigration scam.
No, I don't want you talking. You've been arrested. Come with me upstairs, now.
At Heathrow, the passenger looking for more than just entry to Britain.
Please give me justice. I am a real student. I am a hard worker.
Sir, justice is a big word.
And tracking down the Indian holidaymakers who never went home.
When did you come to the UK? 4 years ago. So your 6-month visit visa is well expired.
Has been expired.
Well expired.
People all over the world want to live and work in Britain. In 2008, 180,000 people applied for UK work visas. There are plenty of businesses that offer advice to those hoping to be among the lucky ones. Not all of them play by the rules.
Mornings, police. Can you come and open the door, please?
The UK Border Agency and the police have joined forces to combat companies putting in fraudulent applications to the Home Office. This morning in West London, a team led by DC Andy Cornwell are planning a dawn raid. They are targeting a company owned by an Indian national called Jatinder Sharma.
At the beginning, the intelligence was passed to us and it suggested a chap called Jatinder Sharma was supplying counterfeit educational documents to the Home Office to enable...
The team believes Sharma is married to 2 women, Neelam and Raki,
overview of what's happening.
and that all 3 run a visa racket that has given thousands of people access to Britain who shouldn't be here.
Police officers, I have a warrant to search this premises. Can you come in, please? Yeah, is he upstairs, is he? Right, I'll come up with you then. Hello there, sir. Are you Mr. Sharma? So if you come downstairs with us, I shall explain everything to you.
Sorry.
Sharma is a trained solicitor whose previous clients include the hook-handed Muslim cleric Abu Hamza. The officers want to contain Sharma and his wives so they can't destroy incriminating evidence.
I've got a warrant to search this address for forged and counterfeit educational documents and also any articles that may be used to manufacture those documents. Okay, do you understand that? Right. Come and have a seat, madam.
What is it?
What is your name?
Raki.
Raki, have a seat in that chair for us, please.
DC Cornwell has something else on Sharma and his wives. He suspects they've used deception to stay in the country.
But my colleague's got something that he needs to say to each of you first.
You're going to be arrested, okay, on suspicion of obtaining leave by deception.
Me?
Yeah. Do not say anything but in harm offensive. Do not mention when questioned so they say in court.
Right, yeah, Julian, this is Neelam.
Neelam, we've had info that you've been assisting a non-EU citizen to remain in the UK.
Neelam is suspected of endorsing Raki's fraudulent application to stay in Britain.
Also, you do not have to say anything but in harm offensive. Do not mention when questioned so later in court.
Raki is here on a work visa, but has never worked where she's supposed to.
Raki, you should not be in the UK. You're under arrest for obtaining leave by deception.
Right, can you come with me then upstairs? Can you come with me upstairs? No, I don't want you talking. You've been arrested.
With Sharma and his 2 wives under arrest for immigration offences, the team look for evidence that they're behind the bigger crime of running a fake visa factory.
Do you have any documents in this building, Mr. Sharma, in this house that you shouldn't have?
Please feel free to, because I don't do any kind of deception, sir.
So far we've found bank statements showing large deposits. We've also got various what appears to be Indian certificates and blank letterheads, and we've also got a stamp and an ink pad for the Smile Dental Clinic. A bit tricky to read backwards, but it's Bangalore.
If the certificates and the stamps are counterfeit, it could go some way to enabling unqualified people to work fraudulently as dentists in Britain. And while there's evidence they're moving large sums of money around the world, it seems Sharma likes to keep it in the family.
And Mr. P. Sharma? That's your younger son. So your younger son is 8?
What is this?
And he owes money. His bank account's in arrears. That makes no sense.
Is it an offence?
Sorry?
Is it a crime?
Well, it depends who's using or who P. Sharma is.
After 2 hours of searching, the officers have found £6,000 in cash details of bank deposits totaling hundreds of thousands of pounds and suspected fake certificates. Now, tucked away in one of the bedrooms is perhaps the most revealing find so far.
What we found here in the bedroom is a carrier bag which contains a vast quantity of stamps, different stamps and stamp making machines. It may well be used in the to facilitate defrauding the Home Office with qualifications that maybe haven't been obtained by the relevant person using them.
The raid has thrown up plenty of questions to put to Mr. Sharma and his two wives. And that's after only searching their home. Now the team have their sights on their business address.
What you've got here is people who are abusing the privilege of living in the UK, and that's what we're hoping to prove today in relation to these individuals.
Marvellous. See you back at Southall.
Excellent.
It's estimated there are over 1 million illegal immigrants living in Britain. Many choose Britain because they believe it's a soft touch. They know the scams to stay on illegally and avoid deportation. The UK Border Agency has 38 enforcement bases whose job it is to track these people down. Today, a team in Glasgow are carrying out a raid on the Royal India restaurant in one of the city's most affluent areas. They have intelligence the restaurant is employing illegal workers.
Hi there, from immigration, if you just see my colleague there. Hi there, guys. From immigration, you want to put everything down for us, please? Make your way out here. Make your way out. Oh, there.
The team find 5 workers and the owner of the restaurant. An employer must make checks on his staff to ensure they are allowed to work in the UK. He can be fined up to £10,000 for each illegal worker found on his premises.
Now, once I find out what's happening with my colleagues in relation to their questioning, then I'll sit and have a wee chat with you and we'll establish if they were working here or not, okay?
First to be questioned about his immigration status is the waiter.
What nationality are you, Sharon? Indian. Do you have a passport?
I don't have any passport.
You don't have a passport? How did you get into the country without a passport?
I came and I lost my passport.
You came and you lost your passport. When did you come to the UK?
4 years ago.
4 years ago? On a 6-month visit visa?
On a 6-month.
So your 6-month visit visa is well expired?
Has been expired,
Well expired?
Yes.
Okay.
The scam of coming into the UK as a tourist and staying on to work has given this man up to 4 years of illegal employment. If his colleague was hoping to pull off the same trick, he wasn't banking on meeting the enforcement team so soon.
And how long have you been in the UK?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks? Do you have permission to work?
I don't know.
How long have you been working here?
Today.
1 day.
For this Indian man found in the kitchen, an encounter with immigration while at work is nothing new.
Do you have a passport? Why don't you have a passport?
I am signature in your office, Ibrox.
You're reporting to immigration at the moment. Why are you reporting to their office? Have you been spoken to by immigration before?
Yes, Indian National
Killamant Polo Club. This gentleman here was actually encountered by myself on a previous visit to a restaurant on the opposite side of Glasgow about 8 weeks ago. He was then arrested at that point and served papers as an illegal entrant. Those papers would have told him he's not permitted to work, so here we found him yet again working illegally.
When the team arrested the worker last time, they could not find his passport and so were unable to remove him from Britain. All they could do was release him on bail.
The documentation that was issued to you when you were last encountered by immigration must have told you you were not allowed to work. You're not permitted to work.
I'm starting this morning.
You're starting this morning?
The men do not appear to be fazed by being caught working illegally. And this worker has a familiar tale to tell.
I'm at wee curry shop, Ashton.
Ashton. Oh, wee curry shop?
Wee curry shop.
Last week?
Before Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Okay.
Okay, how long have you been in the UK?
9-10 years.
9-10 years.
The man has also recently been arrested by the team and he too was released on bail and told not to work.
How long have you been working here then?
Today.
Today?
Aye.
How much you get paid?
No pay.
If the man is not being paid, he must be working as a volunteer. It's certainly a story the owner wants to promote.
What's the point? Okay, so you don't pay him any money? No. What does it get? What does it get in return?
He only came in today. I haven't paid him any money yet.
Okay. No, that's fine, but would you be paying him any money if he was here tomorrow?
No, I wouldn't.
No. So what does he get in return for his employment?
He just says he's going to have a food, you know that.
So he gets food basically, yeah?
But I wasn't paying him anyway. He wasn't employed.
Okay.
Okay, Harvey.
As the illegal worker arrested last week is already on bail, and the team still don't have the documents they need to remove him from the UK, all they can do is release him once again.
Shows how scared they are of us. Caught him last week.
Yeah.
We issued him a letter to the paper and say, look, you're not allowed to work in our country legally. What does he do? He goes straight back out and get another job. It's frustrating.
Okay. How long were you intending to work for? Months? Years?
No.
Until you get caught, or?
Here? No, 4 o'clock start today.
Yeah, and that's it? You were only going to work today?
Just today.
Don't believe you. No more working? Okay?
Yes.
Time for you to go. Kilo Mike, that's Parveen Kumar off the premises.
The man has now twice seen the consequence of getting caught working illegally. He knows that until the enforcement team get hold of his travel documents, it pays to exploit the system and to find another job.
Okay, need to come this way, okay?
And to the frustration of the officers, the same goes for the other illegal worker already on bail. But the owner could be hit where it hurts with a potential fine so far of £20,000. Little wonder then that he claims the men were just visiting.
Okay, so did you employ Gurwant?
No.
Okay, so again, he was encountered in your kitchen dressed in chef white.
So they probably wore the code, you know, because they might think I might get dirty or something like that. You know, but they wasn't even employed.
Okay, what's happened is if he's encountered on your premises and he's witnessed in your kitchen preparing food, he's working, whether that be in return of food or in return of money, okay?
Okay, off you go. Don't come back here. Okay, so you're not permitted to work. Okay, off you go.
The men already on bail may be free to go, but the remaining 2 suspected illegal workers may not get off as lightly. If they are arrested and the team find their passports, they could be removed from the country within days.
That's where you live?
500 miles away, the UK Border Agency and the police continue their investigation into the Sharma's fake visa business. After a dawn raid, Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives are brought to Southall Police Station. Evidence found in their house suggests they're involved in manufacturing bogus certificates for visa applicants.
I think you're all aware that we were quite successful this morning. We've recovered approximately 50 to 100 stamps in all different sorts of identities and for all different sorts of companies, which tend to suggest the occupiers are involved in some sort of fraud or deception against the Home Office. And we've seized bank accounts which show that they're making money from their enterprises. I think some of the accounts have got 50,000, some have got 20,000 pounds in them.
Jatinder, can you turn to your left, please, so you're facing that wall there?
The officers have plenty of questions to put to the suspects. But first, they want to look for more evidence. The team believe that crucial documents will be held at Univisas, the business Sharma runs with his wives Raki and Neelam.
We've just arrived at phase 2 of the operation. This is the business address of Univisas. This is where the 3 people who were arrested at the home address work. So we've got a search warrant to search this property. Again, looking for any items of documentation of interest, specifically immigration related.
On the surface, Univisas is a legitimate legal firm giving advice to overseas applicants for UK visas. The team suspect it is a front for a racket producing fake documents to help thousands of people stay in the UK illegally. It isn't long before they discover just the sort of papers they're looking for.
I'm excited about that, mate.
Oh, yes. It looks as though these are applications for visas for Chinese nationals to come here and study English. That's what it appears to be, anyway. It's not something that a genuine student should need, any kind of immigration advisor. So why does this need to involve Univisas?
All very odd. The tissue of deceit continues.
In another room, there's more damning evidence with potentially alarming implications.
Another stamp for a company, obviously to legitimise fraudulent documents. As we found at the home address, you've got there's like fraudulent documentation for dentists and doctors, etc. If these people are successful, it does make you wonder: are these people working illegally in the medical industry? Are they looking after vulnerable people?
The apparent scale of Univisa's activities is even greater than the investigation team had suspected. And now, after a 3-hour trawl, the officers find evidence that leave little to the imagination. Sharma has emailed a supplier of fake educational documents on behalf of a client who wants to stay in the UK.
Fantastic, isn't it, Dave? Here we go. This is a little shopping list. We need a PG diploma for the following candidates.
Oh,
ASAP.
He's not studied anywhere. He needs international graduate students, so we have to show some course.
That's fantastic.
That is the killer, isn't it? He's very fussy and wants some accredited UK quality. Oh, fantastic.
He's clearly paid a bit more money for that.
That's what we've been waiting for, isn't it?
Brilliant.
He's not studied anywhere. He's been in the UK for 3 years, but his leave is running out, so he needs to get onto the IGS, is the International Graduate Scheme, and this is a scheme supposedly to keep quality graduates in the UK. They can switch into employment, so we have to show some course. Might be a diploma in business administration from July 05 to October 6, and then the postgraduate diploma. So clearly that's a request for a certificate so that it matches in with a fictional study history. But in the first sentence there, hasn't studied anywhere, so it's a lie to facilitate the person's permission to stay in the country.
Combine that with the stamps that they've got next door and the stamps from the home address, I think he'll be serving a long time in prison, quite honestly.
At the Royal India restaurant, the enforcement team have had to release 2 known offenders already on bail. Now it's time to deal with the 2 other illegal workers.
Okay, car pal, through here. You're now under arrest, okay, as a suspected immigration offender. Don't have to say anything you do say may be noted, may be used in evidence. Do you understand? You're under arrest, okay?
This man is in the UK as a tourist and says he's been here 2 weeks.
Yeah, he claimed he came here with a visit visa just for a holiday, but he's now working. All his friends, families, relatives have probably been doing it, telling him, come to Britain, you know, and you can earn some good money. So they'll know how the system works. They've been doing it for years.
And the owner should know he can't employ a holiday maker from India, even if the man does just turn up at the door and offer to help.
So he came up to the back door, just wandered up to the back door and said, I've got a tourist visa, and that was it.
Well, he says, walked in and he says, can we help you out and all that, you know. I said, well, have you got other documents? You know, can you work and all that, you know. He said, I'll bring that tomorrow, like, you know.
Okay. Pay him any money?
No, I mean, like I say, it only came in a couple of hours ago, like, you know.
Right, Sharon, come this way, okay? Okay, you've been arrested, okay, because you on suspicion of being an immigration offender.
The owner also denies employing the waiter who has overstayed his tourist visa by more than 3 years.
Okay, this way, sir. We're going this way, but you're going to do what we tell you to do, okay? Because what you must understand now is you're arrested.
Okay,
okay?
No, sir.
Right?
Sorry about that.
Relax, okay?
The team have found 4 illegal immigrants at the restaurant. They do not believe the owner's excuses and serve him notice that he could be fined up to £40,000.
4 males have been named on this, okay? None of them have permission to work in the UK. I understand you say they're not getting paid money, but any kind of employment, whether it be paid or unpaid, is still classed as working, and it's still illegal if they've got no permission to do so, okay?
Of all the employees found at the restaurant, only one is entitled to work. He has indefinite leave to remain in the UK.
So many restaurants employ illegals, you know. The thing is, you've got your status now.
Yeah,
There's lots of people have their status, but they can't find work.
Really?
And it's hard for them. So that's what we're trying to do, protect the local population, people who you're entitled to work here. And there's other people like you who can't get a job. Okay, good luck then.
Thank you very much.
You understand what we're doing.
Goodbye.
The team don't want to have to release on bail the 2 men they've arrested today, but in order to detain and remove them from the country, the officers must find their passports.
If we don't have a passport for him, we cannot remove him. We have to apply to Indian Embassy to try and get a travel document, which can take up to 6 months. We can't detain him for 6 months. So we release him, and what does he do? He goes straight back to work again.
The holidaymaker is cooperative and is given an address where he's staying with relatives.
Hi there, how are you doing? From Immigration Service. Can we come in and have a quick word with you?
Yes.
Thanks, all right.
Thank you.
But the waiter is being less helpful. He claims to have lost his passport and he can't remember his own date of birth.
Why can't you remember your birthday?
Sorry?
Why can't you remember your own birthday?
Sorry, I don't know.
Are you telling me the truth?
Really, I'm telling you the truth. I can't remember.
You said something about a date of birth on your passport. What do you mean by that? Why are you trying to remember the date of birth on your passport and not your own date of birth?
I can't remember. Sorry.
The man knows the less information he gives, the harder it is to remove him from the country. He has given an address where he claims to live, but he says he's never been given any keys.
This male has turned up for his first day of work today, wearing the clothes that we encountered him in, with only a mobile phone in his possession and the bus fare to get him to work this morning. I had no other possessions at the restaurant.
It's a common ruse. Illegal immigrants know that if they're arrested at work, officers won't have the warrant to forcibly enter and search their home for a passport.
There's nothing up here. All these sort of flats are owned by the owners of the restaurants and they'll move the staff around. I've searched houses like this before where I've seen one bloke who's been actually living in a cupboard. But the reason why it's so transient is because they move from restaurant to restaurant, usually depending on whether they've been raided by immigration.
The team searching for travel documents for the holidaymaker have had more luck.
We've got a passport for the subject, which makes a big difference to us. Chances are we'll be keeping a hold of him and removing him back to India.
The passport reveals the man was twice refused a tourist visa to the UK. Having finally got one, he's been found working illegally after only 5 days in the country. The waiter's evasive tactics have paid off. All the team can do after questioning him is release him on bail until they have the papers needed to remove him from the country.
And that's why so many want to come here, because they know in Britain, they know how the system works. And, you know, it's not a good advert to deter people who aren't British not to come here, you know.
The holidaymaker is detained for 6 days before being removed back to India. For employing 4 illegal workers, the owner of the Royal India restaurant is fined £20,000. Most of the 70,000 people who arrive each day at Heathrow have a perfectly good reason to come to Britain, whether it's business, pleasure, or simply coming home. But some people are trying to get in and stay in the country illegally. Officer Lisa Lee is one of Heathrow's 1,700 UK border agency staff. Today, she stopped a student returning to Britain after spending 5 months back home in Pakistan.
Mr. Qureshi, you come with me. I have your ticket passport here, okay, sir? All right?
He says he's here to take exams, but a quick call to his college throws his story into doubt. They say he's never attended at all. Officer Lee wants to search the passengers' bags as they might reveal what he's up to in the UK.
How much is here?
£2,080.
£2,080.
Yeah.
So you have a job here?
Yeah, I have a job here.
What were you doing here, sir?
A minicab office is a controller.
Controller in a minicab office.
Yeah.
As a student, the man is allowed to work, as long as it's only part-time. He's adamant his main reason for being here is to study. The only problem is, to be a genuine student, you need a genuine college.
I go to in my college in every day, but they are not studying and they are only cashing the price. Please give me a gesture. It's my future.
Okay, so yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment, your future, yeah?
Yeah. I'm a very hard worker student.
So I know you're anxious, I know you're nervous, but you need to wait for me, all right?
Please give me a gesture.
If you follow me. Yeah. He's very nervous. He's almost pleading with me to let him in.
Give me a gesture. Please give me a gesture.
So as I said to you, I will talk to you in a moment, okay? He said a few things about his studies. I'm going every day, but they are not teaching or something. So I need to try and work out what he means. But he's clearly very worried. He actually asked me if I was going to deport him. And I said, well, I don't know what will happen yet. Just, bear with me and answer my questions.
The passenger is desperate to be heard. He wants Officer Lee to investigate his college.
Please give me justice. I am a real student. I am
Sir,
a hard worker.
Sir,
yeah.
Justice is a big word, all right? So you have to bear in mind that I have to follow the rules.
Yes, you have followed the rules, but the college has given me a deceit to me.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? He's claiming that the college is bogus in that he was attending when he was meant to attend and they were not running classes. Now, they've said to us immediately, we rang them, he's never attended. The problem he's got is he stayed here for 6 months without doing any, appearing to do nothing, and is now saying he's coming back to find another college. So either he's not being completely honest or the college is fibbing.
Officer Lee must find out who is telling the truth. It seems the college is sticking to its guns, backing up its claims in writing.
What I have here is a fax from the college which says that he enrolled on a 12-month course for an advanced diploma in business admin, which should have commenced last March 2008. They claim to have written to him concerning his poor attendance, but they never received any response, and so they've removed him from their register, which essentially means he has no place to study. So now we need to get to the bottom of his allegations as well. Mr. Qureshi?
And to make sure his allegations are understood, the passenger has asked for an interpreter.
How long did you attend the college for?
On and off jata raha us college.
For 6 months I went on and off.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't teach anything there.
Fees le li thi.
And they took my tuition fees off me.
How much did you pay them?
£1,600.
£1,600.
Okay. We spoke to your college and they gave us this.
उन्होंने ये फैक्स भेजा था, ठीक है? मैं पढ़ के बताऊं?
हाँ. तो मैं इनके कॉलेज जाता या पढ़ाई नहीं होती.
He said, I'm saying to you, you investigate this college.
और मैंने इनका कोई लेटर रिसीव नहीं किया.
There are absolutely no classes that go on, and I haven't received any letter from them.
Okay, the difficulty I have is that you were here for 6 months and you did nothing about this college.
ख़त्म ही ना करा दे.
They had my money.
और ये मुझसे ज़्यादा पैसे और मांग रहे थे.
And they were asking me for more money. I didn't have any further access to any funds, and I was afraid that they were going to report me to the Home Office and remove me.
When you arrived today, you told me that you were coming back to continue your studies and that you would take exams in March. Why would you say that if you're not going to attend that college?
Study करूँगा ये मुझे ना रोके.
Eventually, I would have enrolled at a different college, but in the meantime, I didn't want to be stopped by immigration.
So you lied?
हाँ जी मैम.
Yes, I did.
So you sought to secure your entry to the UK by employing deception?
करता और मैं क्या
I had no money, I had no other way.
सारी लाइफ मेहनत पे गुजरी है.
I've always worked hard.
मेरे फादर किडनी के ट्रांसप्लांट पेशेंट हैं.
My father's a kidney transplant patient.
और my mother is old.
And my mother is old.
मैं उनका अकेला बेटा हूँ.
I'm their only son.
मेरे बाप को हार्ट अटैक हो जाएगा.
He goes, in any sense, I'm not going to go back because my father will have a heart attack.
क्योंकि मुझे वो बर्बाद मत करें, मेहरबानी करें.
He's saying, don't ruin me, help me.
If the passenger is to avoid being sent back home, he needs Officer Lee to believe his allegations.
Follow me.
And to accept that he's here to find a new college. Jatinder Sharma and his wives, Neelam and Raki, have been in custody for the last 6 months awaiting trial. They are accused of submitting fraudulent visa applications on behalf of foreign nationals hoping to work in Britain. DC Cornwell and his team have sifted through 90,000 seized documents and have unearthed the biggest immigration scam ever seen in this country. Sharma and his wives forged papers to secure visas for more than 1,000 people through their company, Univisas.
Univisas have generated income tax return forms, they've generated education forms, and they've also generated pay slips and employment records.
And there's proof the rubber stamps found at the Univisa's office have been used to endorse the bogus documents.
So that's the stamp, Office of the Joint Income Tax Officer, which is this stamp here. Now, our scientists have studied that impression and the stamp, and they've concluded that there is no doubt the stamp has made that impression.
Univisas charged would-be foreign workers up to £4,000 a time for fake documents to back up their applications. The police believe the company may have raked in more than £3 million, most of it still unaccounted for. It's down to DC Andy Cornwell and DC Simon Prothero-Jones to track down the missing money. Today they are at court where Sharma, Raki and Neelam are due for a plea hearing. All three have already pleaded not guilty, but they have good reason to change their minds.
The judge has made it clear that today is the last day that a discounted sentence is on offer, and without a doubt for all the defendants, any discount which they get from an early plea is going to be substantial. We are talking years off their sentence. As a result of that, things are getting fairly heated in there between the defence teams and the prosecutor. It is very fraught, but there's a lot at stake.
Raki and Neelam stick with their pleas of not guilty, but Jatinder Sharma tries to strike a deal with the prosecution. He's willing to plead guilty on one condition.
He was prepared to plead guilty, provided we excluded his house in Southall from any sort of cash confiscation. That kind of set us thinking, really. Why is he so concerned about his house? It led us to sort of muse that perhaps there's a load of cash stored somewhere in that house, which is why he doesn't want the house the subject of any confiscation. And the hoodie bar, the enforcer.
The only way to find out is to go back to Sharma's house to take a closer look.
And it would appear that their business over the 18 months it was running has turned over probably £3 million. Now, if you look at that, and we say maybe £1 million of that has gone in expenditure over the 18 months. We've frozen assets in their bank accounts of 400,000, so that leaves us short 1.6 million.
We've got a warrant to search the address, okay?
The reason we're back at the home address today pretty much is that we're looking for anything which could have been missed. It could be as simple as a big pile of money underneath the floorboards. It could be bank documents relating to an account which we didn't know, accounts, shares, stocks in somebody else's name, anything which is going to lead us to the outstanding funds. I still think there's a lot more money in this house somewhere, so we're going to go back in, lift floorboards if we have to, go up into the loft, lift the insulation, just absolutely every nook and cranny. You've got to look around at the house around us. It's a state. Here's a man that had hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank. This one house, with a very limited amount of equity in, is what he's desperate to keep hold of. Why is he so desperate to keep hold of a house which is literally filthy and falling down?
You know, I mean...
Ripping out floorboards and insulation doesn't reveal the cash the team are looking for.
Oh, oxygen, fresh air.
I don't know about...
But opening post addressed to Neelam unearths bank accounts the team didn't know about.
Punjab National Bank. We found a bank account in the name of Neelam. This account, which we weren't aware of up until now, contains just over £20,000. So that's of interest. And again, there's another 40, 50, 60,000 pounds at least. So she alone has the best part of £250,000 in her bank accounts.
The arrest of Neelam does not appear to have stopped large sums of money being moved between her accounts.
30k remitted by Neelam to India. So that explains we're another 30,000, well, 30,000 on this one statement.
Transferred into another of her bank accounts, or?
Yeah, interesting though. The last one was on the 17th of the 12th, 08.
17th of the 12th?
Yeah.
While they're in custody?
While they were in custody.
That's not good.
Even though Neelam has been in prison awaiting trial, some of the illegally gained money in her accounts has been squirreled away in Indian banks. But there is still over £1 million missing.
This search here has been worth its weight in gold, literally to us. We've immediately traced tens and tens of thousands of pounds. I suspect once I take all this paperwork away with me, sit down at a desk and go through it in a lot more detail, it may well help me trace hundreds of thousands of pounds, and that's getting towards the sort of figures that we're looking for.
We've had a fantastic result, really. I'm pleased. Jatinder's pleaded to absolutely everything. I know he's guilty, he knows he's guilty, he's finally done a decent thing and admitted it.
There is a real sense of satisfaction of actually seeing Jatinder stand in the dock in the court and finally admit his guilt. You know, he has done all of this stuff wrong, he's lived a good life out of it, he's made an enormous amount of money.
Hugely satisfying, but still a lot of work to do.
The officers still have the painstaking job of preparing for a trial. It will be for a jury to decide whether Raki and Neelam helped Sharma to perpetrate Britain's biggest visa scam. At Heathrow, the Pakistani student is waiting to hear if he can come into Britain. At first, he said he was here to take exams. Now he's accused his college of being bogus and claims his intention is to find a new college. Officer Lee refers the case to Chief Immigration Officer Sarah Dyson.
He can't explain why in the 6 months that he was here before going to Pakistan, he has made no serious attempt to re-enroll or to find another college.
Well, I mean, I think just by doing that impacts on his credibility, doesn't it? And whilst he says, no, this college are just taking money off me, they've never provided me with any lessons, I don't think that's a good enough argument.
No.
And that shows that he's not a genuine student who's committed to studying in the UK. And also he lied. As soon as he got to the desk out there, he gave a complete rubbish story,
just
didn't
to secure his entry.
To secure his entry. So you have to question his intentions, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, sir, I need to have a chat with you, okay? Come with me. Okay, my Chief Immigration Officer has decided that we are going to cancel your visa. This is because we're not satisfied that you have been making any attempt to study in the UK. And that you lied when you came to the desk on arrival, yeah?
He goes, I've been deceived before. That's why I went home. He goes, if there's any studying going at that college...
I am going to write a report. From the information you've given me, I will make sure that is passed on to our college, the people that look at colleges, okay? So they will be looked into, I can promise you that. Yeah?
Please help me.
I can't do anything, sir, okay? The rules are there for a reason. I can't just permit you to come into the UK as a student because you're not a student. You never have been. You must understand the reason why we have to enforce the rules. It's hard to say whether he's been a victim or not, from the fact that he maintained throughout the interview that he'd paid money in good faith and had not received what he'd paid for, that he may well have been a victim. The minute we then contact the college concerned, it could be that they didn't want us investigating them, so they've denied all knowledge of him. Who's to say who's telling the truth and who isn't? It's just the bare facts are that he didn't study when he was given a visa to study. That's why it's been cancelled.
The passenger was detained overnight and put on a flight back to Pakistan the next day. Officer Lee handed the information about the suspected bogus college over to colleagues in the investigation team. It's been more than a year since the UK Border Agency and police raided the offices of Univisas and discovered fraud against the Home Office on a massive scale. Company boss Jatinder Sharma has already pleaded guilty.
Well, Alice, one of the many striking things about this case is the arrogance of the man who ran the scam. He was so confident he could get you into this country illegally. He offered clients a no-win, no-fee option.
Today, after a 4-week trial, the jury is expected to deliver their verdict on Sharma's wives, Neelam and Raki.
Raki, she's offered a number of defences. you know, if one fails, we'll try the other. If that fails, we'll try the other. And first of all, I didn't know anything about anything. But then, if I did know, or if the jury believe I did know about it, then I'm going to offer a defence of marital coercion. Neelam's defence is just, at the time, I wasn't aware of any wrongdoing. If it happened, and she has kind of accepted it did happen, then it's down to Raki and Jatinder.
It's for the jury to decide if they're telling the truth. By gambling on a trial, the women risk receiving tougher sentences if found guilty. It takes 4 days of deliberation before the jury reaches a majority decision.
We've had a brilliant result today. We've now had all verdicts returned on Raki and Neelam. Neelam was convicted on the money laundering charge. Raki was convicted on everything, all of the charges against her. We've just come out of court. Jatinder's been in the dock with them, and all three have been sentenced.
The jury accepts that Neelam was not behind the fraud, but she is sentenced to 4 years in prison for laundering some of the £3 million that poured into univisas. Raki conspired with Sharma to defraud the Home Office by submitting bogus visa applications. She is sentenced to 8 years in prison. Jatinder Sharma is given credit for his early plea and is sentenced to 7 years. Thanks to their criminal activity, there could be thousands of people in the UK who are not entitled to be here.
Univisas is obviously an immigration consultancy. There are hundreds of those operating throughout the capital and throughout the country, and a lot of those will be running similar sort of scams. So what we've really dealt with over the last 12, 13 months is, I believe, the tip of the iceberg.
It's been a long and complex investigation, but it's not over yet. There's still the missing money to track down and seize. As for Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives, they'll be deported to India after they've served their sentences. Calais in northern France is the port most favoured by migrants trying to enter Britain illegally. UK border agency officers work round the clock checking for clandestines, illegal immigrants stowing away in freight.
We will have a look.
They find 19,000 clandestines a year who have managed to slip past truck drivers and hide in their load.
You may get a penalty for bringing clandestines into the UK control zone. Before you come here, check your vehicle yourself.
The port is a pressure point, with an estimated 1,000 migrants waiting for their chance to get to Britain and living in a squatter camp they call the jungle. Here the clandestines swap information and plot their next attempt to cross the channel illegally. They play a cat-and-mouse game with the UK border agency. Part of a team starting the early shift are immigration officers Lee Harper and Jules Turner.
Clear the rear.
They know the tricks commonly used by clandestines.
A big seal.
They've stopped a lorry that looks like it's been tampered with and want the driver to open up.
Well, what he's done is just gone to take his padlock off, and as he's taking the padlock off, he's actually noticed that it's broken. So it could be an indication that someone's cut the padlock and glued it back together, basically, and gone through the side door. But we won't actually know until we open the door and go in ourselves.
We're going to open it.
The truck's load is yogurts, and inside it's as cold as a fridge.
Good morning.
Good morning. You cold?
Yeah, you're cold.
Hello. Shoes on. Shoes. Put your shoes on.
Oh, God. I'm getting yoghurt all over me. OK, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sammy? Got 12.
12, all right.
12 people that we can see at the moment in the back of the lorry.
But there are more hiding in the corner at the back.
Sammy?
Yeah.
Can you make that 17?
17, okay.
Where you from?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
Yes.
All of you?
All bro.
Okay. One chance, one chance. Not today, my friend.
For every clandestine found, a driver can face a penalty of £2,000. So it's in his interest to keep his vehicles secure.
Because I don't park outside on the street. I park inside on the services and pay the €7 for the parking.
Although the driver parked in a secure area, 17 Afghans managed to break into his truck. And it would appear an accomplice fixed the padlock from the outside.
I've used a pair of bolt cutters on it. And what it looks like they've done is just push it straight back in and maybe even glued it together so it looks like it's a whole padlock again.
For the clandestines, getting caught is an occupational hazard. Some will keep on having a go, however long it takes.
How many times have you tried?
1 year.
You've been here a year?
Yeah, 1 year. The jungle.
You stay in the jungle?
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy?
Yeah, 1 year.
I think a lot of them have been through it before. We find the same people time and time again at the moment because obviously our controls are much stronger than they have been in a long time. So we are seeing the same faces. So they know the routine as well as we do.
For failing to prevent 17 clandestines from breaching his truck's security, the driver was fined £1,700. The freight company was fined £2,500. Clandestines rarely carry travel documents and so avoid being removed from France. They are simply escorted from the port and are free to return to their makeshift camp. Despite living in appalling conditions, the clandestines believe the jungle is a better option than the countries they are fleeing.
My family is very poor, so I have 5 brothers and sisters, and my parents are old, they can't do jobs, so that's why I come here to Europe, so I can help them.
This man has travelled from Kashmir in search of a better life, and like all the clandestines, he imagines the UK is the place to find it.
If I go over there, I will marry. After marrying, I will get paper. After paper, I will get job. I will have a house, have a child, and have a family, and have a peaceful life.
But for those who do make it across the Channel, life in Britain can often fall short of the dream. The UK Border Agency man all entry points into Britain to make sure only legitimate travellers get into the country. But some get through illegally, and many visitors stay longer than they should. It's estimated there are up to 1 million illegal immigrants living in the UK. Today in Stoke, an enforcement team led by immigration officer Phil Arthur is planning raids on car washes believed to be employing illegal workers.
This morning we're going to car washes, all very local to the office here. The first of which is Bubbles Hand Car Wash. When we enter, straight in, and it's going to be very dynamic, guys. We want to get right out of the vehicles and straight into them. Okay, thanks ladies and gentlemen, see you out there.
Enforcement teams around Britain have their work cut out keeping tabs on car washers. They are start-up businesses that can appear overnight and offer low-paid casual work, appealing to workers who are not entitled to be here.
Most city centres nowadays have quite a lot of these establishments. The problem is that at the end of the day, these people are either illegally in the UK and or illegally working in the UK.
It's usually Afghans, Iraqis, that's the sort of person we get working illegally. So we don't expect these people to be paid the minimum wage, don't expect any working time directives to be met by the employer. It's just a case of exploitation once again. It's trying to shut these places down.
A car wash is the kind of place clandestines who've beaten the checks at Calais can end up working. It can be a far cry from the life they hoped for in Britain.
Watch your feet, Carl, and they're slippy, mate.
Hello there, sir. How are you? We're from immigration.
OK, we've got a warrant issued by the courts to be here this morning. You just need to establish your identity, nationality and status in the UK, all right?
There are 3 employees. If they have the right to work in the UK, they should be known to the Home Office.
Yeah. OK, you come this way then. When were you born? Yes, Pakistan. Are you legal or illegal in the UK?
Legal.
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 You have a visa?
Yeah. I am stay here in this country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Checks against the database confirm this man has a British wife and is allowed to work, and that his Pakistani colleague has indefinite leave to remain in the UK. But the records relating to the third worker are less straightforward. He has a checkered history with the border force.
The last time you entered the UK, when was that?
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah.
About 1 month ago.
The man was caught living illegally in Britain 2 years ago. He opted for AVR, Assisted Voluntary Return, a European scheme that gave him a free flight home and £500 cash.
The AVR, a month later, got married in Iraq to a British lady.
Okay.
He says he's come in a month ago again after voluntarily returning.
After the man was returned to Iran, he travelled to Iraq and married a British woman. He then came back to the UK, hidden in the back of a lorry.
How did he come in? Did he say it's okay?
Yeah,
He came in illegally, even though he's married and he's...
Yeah, he apparently he's applied to come in legally and not been allowed.
Right.
So he's come in illegally.
So he's coming in illegally and he's living with his wife at
He's
this moment
living
in
with
time.
with his wife in Silverdale.
Officer Sean Flaherty wants to know why the man took AVR, only to come back again as an illegal entrant.
We have laws for a reason. You apply for a visa, yeah, you're refused a visa, and then you completely decide to disregard UK law and enter the country illegally. Why would you think that would be right at all?
Nothing else I could do.
Well, stay in your country.
I would stay in my country. It's just how about if my wife, if she didn't stay with me? If she doesn't like it, like the culture, she didn't like it, the religion, she didn't like it, the nothing, you know.
If your wife's got difficulties living there for whatever reasons, then that's between you and your wife. But it doesn't justify you coming here for the second time illegally, does it? If you're refused a visa, it means you're not being allowed to come into the United Kingdom. It doesn't mean, here's a green light, go and get in the back of a lorry and come in illegally. That's not the way it works.
I'm arresting you now as an illegal entrant to the UK. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something you later rely on in court. Just like to stand up for me, this gentleman's just going to give you a quick search.
Okay. He did return to Iran originally under the voluntary assisted removal programme. A majority of voluntary removals under that programme do get a financial assistance to reintegrate back in their own country. So he's had that, possibly. And then he comes back in illegally. Not going to get a refund, are we?
Hi. You the owner I spoke to on the phone? Yes. I'm Carl. I'm an immigration officer, okay? Right.
If the owner of the car wash can't prove he's made the required checks on the man, he could be fined up to £10,000 for employing him.
If you want, he's married with the English woman, right? She comes every day here to pick him up.
I fully understand that, sir, and I don't have a problem. That's exactly what he's told us.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that unless you should keep a record and you should keep a copy for yourself.
Yeah, but
so that if a situation like this arises, then you can show us some copies of your...
Yeah, but the thing is, sir, right, this is not a big business, right?
No,
no.
Absolutely, fully understand that. How long have you been working here, sir?
About 5-6 months.
So 5-6 months is a long time not to have a record, isn't it?
I wasn't here, But the thing is, right, don't get me wrong, I've been brought up in this country, like, if I've got a national insurance number, right?
Sure. It actually says on the card now, so do be aware of that. It's not proof of identity. Okay? Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
The owner of the car wash was fined £5,000 for employing an illegal worker. And even though the man admitted to coming twice into the UK illegally, he was later released. He remains on reporting conditions while the Home Office consider his case. But the day is young, and the team have another car wash in their sights. In Calais, hundreds of migrants gather near the port and live rough in the jungle, their camp in the woods outside town. In their eyes, it's the last stop before realizing their dream to cross the channel illegally and reach the UK. With 3,000 lorries passing through every day, there are plenty of opportunities to hitch an illicit ride. Chief Immigration Officer Tammy Richer and her team offer up a line of defence.
Some assistance on 4, please.
They check trucks waiting to board the ferries. They use carbon dioxide probes to detect clandestines breathing inside.
That's good.
Officer Richer gets word that colleagues have found some clandestines.
How many have you got? 7.
A high CO2 reading gave them away, hiding in a consignment of alcohol. Officer Darren Stamati is on hand to escort them off the load.
7 clandestines at the moment, Afghanistan's. Generally what happens, whenever we enter a load, they ask us if one chance to go to the UK. I don't know why they think that they're going to get that, but I think they just try it. They always seem to be in fairly good spirits, but that can change at any point because some of these people, you know, they can be fairly desperate to get to the UK.
Just 2 at a time.
Can I have you and you, please? Can you move out to the vehicle? So where do you live in Calais?
Out of the jungle.
Yeah?
Yes. Under the tree. You know a tree?
Under the tree?
Yeah.
In the jungle? Yeah. 2 more? Okay. There's just this belief that in England, it's just a place they all seem to want to go to. They're not happy to stay here. They just want to go to England. Yes. Why do you want to go to England?
Because problem in Afghanistan, very big problem.
Right.
Yes, sir. Very.
So why England?
Because, sir, I want to get knowledge in England. This is
you want to get knowledge?
Yes, sir. Study in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you think you can get knowledge in France?
Yes, sir. They are not allowed to stay here, stay here in France. Sir.
Okay.
The situation in France is not good, sir.
The belief is in England it's easy to stay for a longer period of time. There's work there, whereas in France, I think they have an understanding they don't get to remain in the country for too long. They're happy to sort of live rough and just try and make a play for the UK. Okay, my friends, go through, watch your head.
Yes.
Because 7 clandestines were found hiding in their load, the freight company was fined £2,800 and the driver £1,400. An average of 50 clandestines a day are stopped trying to cross the channel illegally at Calais. For as long as it remains difficult to deport them, the clandestines will keep returning to the jungle until their next attempt to get past the UK border agency. More than 10 million passengers a year arrive at Heathrow's Terminal 3. Most have a legitimate reason to come into the country.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
A few simple questions at passport control are usually enough to tell if a passenger's trying to hide something.
2 of you?
Officer Neil Newbury has been doing the job for 4 years and knows an unlikely story when he hears one. Today, he stopped an American visitor who was flown in from New York via Toronto. The man says he's here for a 6-month holiday and to spend time with a friend.
We need to look into your reasons for coming to the UK in a little bit more detail. Okay, that's why you've been stopped today. All right? Sitting out here.
He has no job in the US and little money, so Officer Newbury suspects the real reason for his visit is to work.
If you want to pop a couple of your bags up on the bench for the moment, please. Our passenger, he's 26 years old and he's only got about $450 on him. And he decided to look like he's found all his clothes into 4 or 5 suitcases and come to the UK for a really long holiday with just a few $100s on him.
An American tourist is not allowed to work in Britain. Officer Newbury wants to know how the passenger will support himself for 6 months. He calls the passenger's sponsor, the friend he says he's here to stay with.
I need to understand, why are you offering to do all this for Jason? Okay, thanks for that, bye. He's known Jason only for a couple of years. He met in Germany while our sponsor was in the military over there. And Jason apparently was over there
visiting friends. They met over there. They've stayed in touch for the last couple of years. The sponsor, he said he's quite happy to pay for everything, which isn't a problem, but I find it so strange that he's prepared to pay for everything for someone that he's known for just a couple of years.
Just news on that guy.
Jason?
Officer Newbury suspects he's not being told the whole truth. Now he wants to question the passenger about his financial dependence on the sponsor.
Are you happy for me to interview you?
No.
What's the problem?
I feel like I've been violated. I never felt
Violated?
like this in my life. Yes.
What have we done to violate you?
What?
What have we done to violate you?
First of all my clothes and stuff was taken out. Like
You never had your bag searched in a foreign country?
Not like that. My wallet, everybody's been going through my wallet.
On this occasion, you're asking to spend a lot of time in this country, okay? And you don't have much money with you.
I wasn't. How do you know how much money I have in my account?
I don't know. That's what
I told the lady.
That's what I'm going to start asking you now. So, are you happy for me to interview you?
No. But I'll answer the questions. I'm telling you that I'm not happy. But
I understand you're not happy, but are you prepared to be interviewed by me?
Yes, I'm prepared.
Okay, can you just tell me why you've come to the UK today?
You know, a lot of things been going on at home. I just lost my grandfather. I don't come from a good upbringing in my neighborhood. My friend's been killed and all of that. So I just want to take a vacation.
Where will you stay while you're in the UK?
With Will. He's a long-time friend of my family.
How long have you known Will?
So I've known him over 10 years.
Do you remember where you met him?
I met him in New York. That's where I'm from.
He's told us he's going to be supporting you for up to 6 months while you're in the UK.
Yeah.
Why does he have to support you?
I mean, whatever he's going to pay for, that's on him. But I got my own money.
Will also told me that he's only known you for about 2 years, not 10 years. And he met you in Germany in 2007. Now you've told me that you've known him for 10 years and you met in New York. So I'm a bit confused there as to...
I've known him for a while. I've known Will for a while.
10 years?
Maybe not 10 years, okay? Maybe not 10 years.
Where did you meet him?
In Germany.
You said you met him in New York.
I've met him in he's been in New York before.
Yeah, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, where did you first meet him? You said, in New York. He was in New York, I was in New York.
You're confusing me with the questions. You're asking me, where did we meet? I'm telling you, I've met him in New York. I've also met him
You said that you met him 10 years ago in New York.
I did not say I met him 10 years ago in New York.
You said you met him 10 years ago in New York. I've got it written down here. That's one of the issues we've got here. I'm trying to work out what these discrepancies are between yourself and this gentleman who's prepared to support you financially for the next 6 months.
I've been to Germany, I've been to Stockholm, I've been to different places, and I've never been violated. My clothes have never been thrown out. You put all my stuff out, then you told me to put all my stuff there. I'm waiting around. No one offered me anything until I got up in the room over there. No one's talking to me, no one's telling me nothing.
I'm talking to you now.
Now you're talking to me. I've been here since 11 o'clock.
You're not going to calm down. I'll put you back in holding room. I need to confirm the discrepancies between yourself and Will, okay? That's the issue, one of the issues here.
All right, I don't know Will for 10 years. I've only known him for a short period of time, for a couple of years, that's it.
Just say you met in Germany?
Yes.
He's lying to me, you know, and when I caught him out, you know, that's when he started kicking off a little bit. If I was to act like that in America, the way he's been acting with me, you know, I won't get treated half as well as he's been treated since he arrived. Yeah. I don't think he quite appreciates that, to be honest. So he can throw his arms around as much as he wants, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Officer Newbury updates his boss, Sarah Dyson.
Now, there's big discrepancies about how long these two have known each other, where they met, okay? He believes Will is still in the military, but the sponsor hasn't been in the military for over a year.
They hardly know anything about
each other. They don't know. He's estimated £3,500 to support our passenger for the next 6 months.
Don't believe a word.
No, I think he's telling me what he thinks I want to hear to land this passenger.
What I really am more interested in is his current domestic and financial circs in USA.
He did admit to me It's very hard to get a job in America at the moment, even with someone with a college degree.
The more accurate way of putting it is that he's currently unemployed without
Yes.
any fixed employment in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
And he's not intending to work in the near future in the US because he's taken a plane here for 6 months. And I think we should give him one more opportunity to be straight. I want you to ask him for a straightforward explanation as to why they two of them cannot agree on how long they've known each other and where they met.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back and we'll make a final decision.
Okay. Follow me for a second. Just sit in the corner for me, okay? If it's possible, can you explain the discrepancies between what you're telling us and what Will's been telling us?
Everything was just like, yo, I'm gonna come out there, blase, whatever. I didn't know that I was gonna be interrogated like this.
Yeah, but it's things like how long you've known each other and where you first met. You should know that kind of stuff if you know someone.
I made it seem like I knew him longer than what, but I know Will. Like, come on, man. Like, this is, like, why would I take a flight to another country with a dude that I don't even know?
Well, that's the question that we've been asking, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions. Like,
that's fine, but
like I know Will. I don't know him 10 years, but I know Will.
We have to go by what people tell us. When people tell us different things, makes us question everything that they're telling us. That's the issue here, okay?
Yes.
Okay. He said he was exaggerating. I said, why? I didn't think I'd be asked.
I don't think it's just this one discrepancy that concerns me, but it's this passenger's entire domestic circumstances. There is no doubt in my mind, I am satisfied that had he thought he could, he would have come here to find a job, and that was his primary intention in travelling to the UK. I don't consider him to be a visitor to this country or a tourist. I think you're going to need to refuse him entry.
Yep. Okay, Jason, you want to come out a second, please? Just stand here a second for me, okay? Well, I spoke to Chief Immigration Officer. I've told them what you've told me, and they've decided that on the evidence that we've got from you today and from Will today, you're going to be refused entry, okay? So we're going to have to return you back to the US on the next available flight via Toronto. The next flight isn't until tomorrow at midday, okay? Got to go through with Air Canada.
This is crazy.
Okay.
This is crazy, man.
So what we're going to do, we're going to get somewhere for you to get some shut-eye, okay? You're not going to stay here overnight. We'll do whatever we can to get you somewhere a bit more comfortable. Yes. Wow, that's a relief.
The passenger was held in a detention centre overnight and put on a flight home the next day. In Stoke, the enforcement team are going after illegal workers.
30 seconds and we'll be there.
They've already made one arrest. Now they're about to surprise the employees of a second car wash.
Morning. Right, with immigration and police, we've got a warrant to search these premises. Just need to get everybody's identity, nationality, and see where we go from there. All right, mate? Okay, guys, come this way.
The team round up the workers and use 2 rooms in the office to question them about their immigration status.
Okay, who have we got here then? Come on, you speak English, lads? No?
English?
Any English at all?
Pushtu.
Pushtu. Okay.
One employee can speak English and he's happy to interpret his colleagues' incredible claims.
What's your date of birth?
He says, I don't know the day, but he said I'm 15 or something, 15, 16, something like that.
50?
No, 50, 15.
50?
15, 1-5.
What?
He says that.
All right then. Can you ask him what country he's born
Could they
in?
come here? He's from Afghanistan.
Can you ask your friend again to confirm how old he is?
Who? Huh? He says 15.
15 years old?
Yeah.
With grey hair?
With grey hair.
Can you just ask him his address for me?
He said, I've just come last night.
Can you just ask him how he got here to the UK?
He says, I've just come from to Calais from here and the lorry.
In a lorry?
Yeah.
Next door, another Afghani worker is being checked out.
Can you just ask the lad here?
Sorry?
What's his date of birth?
And it appears a common theme is emerging.
He says I'm 15.
You're 15?
Yeah.
When did he arrive in the UK?
He says I'm coming last night.
And you say you arrived last night on a lorry, and you walked straight in here to a job first thing this morning? We've struggled to get a push-to interpreter, so we've using the gentleman here who's been very helpful. We're speaking to this lad here, but he claims to have arrived here last night in the early hours of the morning on a lorry from France. And he says he's 15.
Me?
I'm arresting you on suspicion of entering the UK without leave. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. If you don't mention, when questioned, something which you later on in court.
You are now, Ismail, you are now under arrest.
Both men claiming to be 15 are arrested as they've admitted entering the country illegally. As they're claiming to be children, their ages will have to be assessed by the social services.
Just take that as
One of the remaining workers is a Pakistani national who is here on a student visa. However, he admits he is not doing any studying at all.
Claims he's only started working here today, so he's working but not studying.
No.
He gets paid £15 a day.
Yes, he will.
That's for 10 hours.
Despite seeking refuge in their own communities, illegal immigrants can find life in Britain very different from the dream. And for those who believe they've beaten the system, reality can hit at any time with the arrival of an enforcement team.
I'm going to arrest you now. He's an illegal entrant to the UK. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. You do not mention when questioned something later on in court.
The Afghani who's been so helpful acting as an interpreter is a failed asylum seeker and should have left the UK. Now he faces the reality of going home.
I live long time in this country, no crime, nothing. But I can't live in Afghanistan now because if you saw me, my brain is already for here, not for Afghanistan. You see the.
I understand that, but you know when you're here illegally, there's always a chance that you'll be sent
I know
back.
I'm legal.
I appreciate what you're saying, but there's nothing I can say that's going to help me now. Is there?
I do nothing. I just work, sleep, home. That's it. You know.
Morning's still young, really. I mean, there were 5 employees there, and we've taken 4 out. This guy who owns this place looking at, you know, upwards of £40,000 in penalties, which is a considerable amount. Yeah, I'm quite satisfied actually. 5 out for morning's work. Happy.
Okay guys, let's go.
The Afghani worker who helped to interpret won himself a reprieve. He put in a fresh application and was given permission to live in the UK. The student who was working instead of studying was detained and removed back to Pakistan. The 2 Afghani men claiming to be 15 were assessed to be over 18. One was detained and removed from the UK, but as the other had no travel documents, he was released on bail and has since absconded. The owner was fined £20,000. But targeting the people who make the serious money out of illegal working is not so easy.
The people who we encounter, they won't give us the names of the agents, they won't tell us the routes they come in, because they're more scared of the agents than they are of us. But these people don't see that they're being used and they're actually victims in all of this. Because they've been exploited, they've been paid peanuts, they've paid thousands of pounds to come to the UK. Unfortunately, very rarely we get them to speak to us and to give us better information so we can get to the heads of these organisations instead of just cherry picking these guys off all the time.
At Heathrow, a Bangladeshi man has been stopped at passport control after flying in with his new wife.
If you can just break down your colleges for me. So in 2003,
he has been living in the UK as a student for the last 6 years, attending 4 different colleges. But 3 of the 4 colleges are now known by the UK Border Agency to be bogus. Before his colleges were exposed as fake, the passenger got a place on the International Graduate Scheme, which allows him to work.
Has my colleague explained the situation and the reasons that we've detained you?
Officer Tim Weatherall takes on the case. He wants to find out if the man's qualifications are genuine.
He's aware he's in a bit of trouble, hence why we've stopped him. I would imagine that from the point of view as them as a couple, they're probably quite worried about the fact they're going to be separated, but you know, if she qualifies for entry, she will be allowed to proceed.
There's a lot at stake for the couple. The wife is eligible to enter the UK. She is American, and this is her first time here, and she doesn't want to be without her new husband.
At the moment, if you wish to stay in here together, you can, or you can either proceed downstairs or you can wait outside. Okay, but I'm going to let you know now, if it's the case that you are refused entry after we've done our investigations, you won't have a choice, okay? You will be landed and you will be refused, so you won't be able to stay together. I would suggest that you prepare for the worst case scenario, if that is appropriate, and then you work out what you're going to do. Because at the end of the day, that's your decision, yeah?
The newlyweds will only come into Britain together if the husband can prove he's a genuine graduate. But it will take some convincing. Officer Weatherall has a thick file of evidence against the college that issued his qualifications.
We've encountered so many students from this particular college, and you know, at the end of the day, most of them have just admitted that they've never actually studied there at all. They've never gone to any classes. Some of them haven't actually ever been to the college. They just paid the money to get the certificate to get an extension of stay in the UK. Well, I've yet to encounter personally a student who has actually been to the college and studied there. He may be the first, you never know, stranger things have happened, but I'm not holding out much hope in this case. I'm just going to go through and interview you now, okay? So just follow me through this way. Just head in there, grab a seat on the far side. We haven't just stopped you on a hunch here. As I explained to you, we've got a lot of information about yourself and about the college and about the types of course that were on it, okay? And did you actually attend the Westminster College of Computing 4 days a week? So how many modules did you take then?
I think 4.
What were they all called?
One is business work.
Business work.
Yeah.
That's a module in a postgraduate diploma is called business work.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
I can't remember.
So you can remember one of your 4 modules.
I can't remember.
Did you take exams? And I'm guessing you can probably only remember 1 or 2. You can't remember anything? Not even the ones that you mentioned before?
No.
This is a 45-page document, yeah? I've got 45 pages there which prove to me that any degree that obtained from Westminster College of Computing is completely bogus. You need to start being very honest with me, or you're going to have a much bigger problem than you do now. You haven't, sir. I don't believe you.
I swear to God.
The fact is, looking back through the colleges you've studied at, all of them are known to immigration for being problem colleges. So I have real issues with the fact that you've ever studied here at all.
I've done some computer courses as well.
Here or?
Oh yeah.
When were they?
That was in Stoke, I think.
It's a first college. Another college that's been closed down for issuing bogus certificates.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not looking good for you, is it? We're happy with your wife, she's going to be allowed through. She's not going to be allowed to stay with you. I'm not happy with you, you will be detained by immigration until we get to the bottom of it, okay? So you need to decide where she's going to go. That's your problem, not mine, okay?
Before deciding the passenger's fate, Officer Weatherall must refer the case to his Chief Immigration Officer, Mo Ghaffar.
Basically, I don't believe a word he's saying. Yeah, I mean, bottom line, I think he's lying through his teeth. I don't believe a word he's told me.
I think we've got substantial information in relation to the fact that he studied at an institution that has closed down. We'll land his wife, and then we'll go from there. All right, Timothy, thanks, thank you.
Okay, right, I spoke to my Chief Immigration Officer. Your wife, we're happy to allow to proceed. She's going to be landed, she's been granted leave to enter. With regards to yourself, the decision's been taken by myself and the Chief Immigration Officer to refuse you entry into the UK today, okay, and to cancel your UK residence permit. You have the right to appeal in country, or you have the right to appeal from Bangladesh. That choice is up to you.
The husband chooses to appeal from the UK. This usually means being held in a detention centre while the appeal is considered, but there are exceptions.
Considering that he has his wife with him, it seems only reasonable to give him temporary admission. I don't consider him to be an absconder at this stage, and if he wishes to fight his case, then let him take his chances in court. She probably doesn't even know what the husband's been up to in the United Kingdom. She didn't expect to be stopped at immigration control and then be asked questions by an immigration officer as to why she was coming to the UK. If I was the wife of this particular passenger, I'd be pretty upset. I'd be asking my husband, what have you been doing?
The husband is granted temporary admission, but he loses his appeal and is put on a flight back to Bangladesh. In Calais, the trucks keep on coming. They bring 20 million tons of freight through the port every year. Rich pickings for migrants intent on getting into the UK illegally. Not every truck can be searched, and no one knows how many clandestines make it across the channel. But 19,000 a year get caught at the Calais checkpoints. With so many failing, they look for ever more ingenious methods of concealment. And the search teams have to get wise to them.
We've come in the lorry, and as you can see, there's a flat load in here. Obviously, there's a distinct smell of clandestines. So we just had a quick look on further inspection. Underneath the boxes here, you'll just see that we've got a purpose-built hide. Probably the illegals have made themselves. They've taken the slats from the side of the lorry and then obviously repositioned the boxes back across the top of themselves. All right there, gentlemen. Where are you from? Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran? Afghanistan. Speak English? No speak English. You speak a little bit, don't you? Yeah, which one of you speaks English? Gentlemen, hello? Take your hoods down.
Okay, what we've actually got in there is officers went in, the load is flat, but there's a strong smell that we tend to get with the clandestines.
As soon as we undid the back door, you get the smell of the illegals. It's an unwashed bonfire smell. These people have been living rough for months, so you know you generally get that nasty odour. But yeah, it's always the giveaway. Someone's smoking.
Put it out.
Put that out. Wherever you're smoking, put that out. Wait,
put it out.
Whoever that is, put that out. Come on, first one.
You stay here.
Hey, come on, mate.
Come on, out.
There are 6 clandestines, all from Afghanistan. It looks like some of them are trying to get to Britain on a regular, perhaps even daily basis.
I think he was one of our 17 yesterday, Tam. Tam,
Yeah.
the next one coming out? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, he was. The last clandestine that's just come out was one that we detected in a find of 17 in the yoghurt lorry yesterday. He's got yoghurt on the back of his coat and his trousers.
Okay, give me your foot. Good foot. Take a good one. And away you go.
We see the same clandestines regularly. Not every day, but we might see them over a week or 2 week period. We might see them 2 or 3 times. At the moment we're seeing people and they're telling us that they've been living in the jungle for anything up to a year at the moment. They're still here, we're still finding them, so we will see the same people time and time again.
Fines served on the freight company and driver add up to more than £6,000. But the clandestines are yet again free to leave the port and return to the jungle. And as the search teams can't check every truck, and with clandestines trying their luck every day, there'll always be some who slip through the net and enter Britain illegally.